Hi, this is Joe LaForest with the University of Georgia Bugwood Network and the Southern IPM Center. Today I've got a little video for you on how to share a document on Google Docs. Google's provided this service and it does a wonderful job of letting some people edit a document, have other people be able to comment on a document, and not have to deal with trying to merge all the different versions and track changes and everything else together when you're done getting all that feedback. To get started, you're going to need a Google account in order to be able to use this service. It doesn't have to be a Gmail address. It just has to be an email address that you've registered with Google to set up your account. You will also need the email addresses of those people you want to be able to edit any document that you post. If you want that editing to be restricted to a certain group of people, or you want to give access to some people to be able to comment while other people have the ability to edit. If it's just a document that you want to open up for anyone in the world to be able to edit, or only people with a certain link to be able to edit it, they don't need to have Google accounts. A way to kind of think about this is if you want to restrict access to something by certain people, the system's going to have to know who those people are, and they're going to have to sign in to prove themselves. If you can think of a situation where that's going to need to be the case, they're going to need a Google account. I'll be demonstrating this today using Chrome as my browser. Other browsers will work just fine. IE 9 and 10 work wonderfully. IE 7 and 8 may have an error message pop up that some features may not work. Other browsers such as Firefox, Opera, Safari also work, but the user has to have them updated. If they're still on Firefox 3.0, they may want to check for updates because there's been just a couple revisions since that came out. In Chrome, I've already signed into my Google account, and up here I can see the links to the applications they have available. And I'm going to choose Google Drive. From here I can see a list of documents that I currently have stored up here. If I was starting a new document, I could click on Create and then select the type of document I would like to make. However, for what we're demonstrating today, I already have one here for demonstration of Google Docs. You open up the document, and from here you can take a look at it, and on the top right there's a button there for sharing. Clicking that button opens a dialog which has several key things to configure the type of sharing you want to do. First of all is the link on top that you will use to share this with other people. It is unique to your document, and what happens when someone goes there depends on the settings you have set below. The first section of these settings controls who has access in a general sense. That if I send this link on to just any old person, what happens when they click on that link? I can change these settings and see my options that are available. That if it's public, anyone on the web can find it and access it with no sign-in required. If I choose the option for anyone with the link, I have to have posted this link on a website or provided it in an email for them to access it. Finally, the option private, which is the default, has that all permissions have to be explicitly granted and sign-in is required. When I share documents, I usually use anyone with a link because there are often times where people want to pass it around to collaborators on a project or others who are loosely affiliated with what's going on to get their input. Down below you have the options for what happens when someone accesses that link. That they can either view, they can comment, or they can actually edit it. If this is going to be a document you're going to share with a small, close-knit group that works well together, you can often allow them to edit the document directly and trust that everyone's going to play nice together in collaboratively writing the document. If it's going to be more of a document where there'll be collaboration, certain people will comment, but you really want to have certain people with author controls on it, allowing can comment will allow them to provide input to you, have discussion on those different comments, and then allow a select group of editors to work on the document to resolve any issues that come up. After you've made your choices, click Save, and it returns you to the dialog you were at previously. That area of the page set up what happens when anyone goes to that link. You can then make explicit permissions for other individuals. So currently with this document, anyone can comment on it. I'm going to add some other individuals that I would like to have the ability to actually edit the document. So I type in their email address, choose what their permission is, and then click Share and Save. See that the email address has changed from bugwood@uga.edu. This is because that Google account has 2 email addresses associated with it, and Google has provided the email address that is listed as the primary address by that user. After I finish adding people to this, I'll copy the link, say done, and then use that link anywhere I want people to be able to access this document, whether I'm posting it to some listserv, online resource, or just sending it around through email for people to provide comments and work on the doc. I'll be producing 2 other video segments that you can send along with those instructions. The first one is going to be on how to edit a document on Google Docs. The second will be how to comment on a document in Google Docs. Hopefully these video segments will be helpful. The purpose of these video clips is to help make people a little more comfortable with the technology before they actually go to use it, to help reduce some of the learning curve and trepidation they may have about trying new technology.